I knew that stalking you would pay off.
What's going on here? You in love with me or something? What's going on?
Anyway, the world is truly a better place because you are in it. Your impact is undeniable. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Undeniable. Today I'm sitting with Miss Manifestation herself, the magical Nycole Ralph. Hey Jay!
Hey girl, hey.
How you feeling looking all sexy up in here?
Hey. I'm feeling good, even better now. Thank you for the compliments I receive.
You're welcome. They all yours. So I am going to put y'all on a little bit, just in case y'all don't know enough about Nycole. Let me help you. I had to piece together a couple different bios, so this is a little snapshot.
Okay.
All right. As one of the top 2% in her industry, Nycole Ralph loves helping other entrepreneurs, actors, and artists make an impact in the world and get paid well to do it. She loves teaching mindset principles and practices because she knows from her own personal experience, as well as experience with clients, that 80% of success is internal. Nycole has been living her dream of performing on Broadway and touring around the world for the past several years, telling the heartwarmingly impactful yet hilarious story, The Book of Mormon, while also appearing in several star-studded award-winning films alongside Adam Sandler, Whoopi Goldberg, Jerry Seinfeld, Rosario Dawson, and Yara Shahidi, just to name a few. She has also created her own comedic series called Working Out the Kinks, streaming on Black Oak TV, that not only makes you laugh, but also uses hair as a vehicle to explore and educate on the difference between black and white culture. Nycole's mission is to carry out the legacy of entertaining while empowering and educating, a legacy left to her by her mother and grandparents, to whom she gives thanks and honor, for without them, she would not be the woman she is today.
Thank you for that wonderful. You did a good job putting them together.
I feel like I know a lot about you, but I still feel like it's still surface. Like, I just feel like there's some deeper things happening there. I don't know, maybe you want to wait for the book to tell, all the juicy stuff.
Hey.
But
I am writing a book. Did you know that?
I did not. You writing a book?
Come on, you better speak it. Yes, I am.
I be knowing.
Yeah, I just co-authored a book that came out in April that went to bestseller on Amazon. And then I was like, oh, I like doing this. I'm going to write an entire book myself. So I'm in the process of doing that. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward. Exciting.
Thank
Taking us back to Sandusky.
Come on, Sandusky. Shout out to my Sandusky peeps.
All right. Have you always been filled with like this zest of happiness and optimism, or did you have to like develop that?
I actually have.
Really?
I have. Yeah. It's so interesting. My brother, if you're watching this, I hope you don't mind me telling a little bit of our business growing up. My dear brother, who I love so very much. Yeah, like I've always had this optimism. I feel like if you were to speak to my brother and I about and have us tell you the story of our upbringing, we would have very different stories, even though we grew up in the same house and we're only 4 years apart. And I think it's because I've always had this optimism, even though we did go through a lot. Like when I hear my brother tell his version of it, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. He actually right. We did go through that, and we went through that, and we went through that. But I don't know. I just had this resilience and this optimism where it's like, oh, this is fun. Not the bad things, but just life is fun.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's something that I picked up about you, and I really like and admire. And it's alluring. So
thank you.
No doubt, girl. Now, when did you come to New York, and how life-changing was that for you?
I came to you about to have me telling my age, girl. I came to New York the month before 9/11 happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
The month before 9/11 happened was, well, actually, I want to tell the story just because I think it's funny. My very first time coming to New York for any length of time. Now, I had come to New York as a tourist for dance competitions. When I was younger, my mom would bring me to New York. But there was a year the year when I was 16 or 17 that I had won a competition, and it was a scholarship to the School for Film and Television. And so that summer, I think I was 16 or 17, I was coming to New York to stay to do the School for Film and Television summer program. And looking back on it, I'm like, my mom really was like, she brought me to New York to stay here all by myself when I was 16. And it wasn't like we were in dormitories. Like, I had my own apartment. And I remember we got off the plane, we took the cab to where my apartment was, and we got everything out the car, our luggage and everything. My mom went to pay the cab driver. We turned around, just that quick, our luggage was all gone. Just that quick, our luggage was all gone. So again, looking back, I'm like, not only was my mom like already planning on leaving me there at the age of 16 for the entire summer, she still let me stay. She took me to the store after that, bought me a whole new wardrobe, and still let me stay, and went back home to Ohio. And I'm like, my mama knew this was my destiny, because I'm looking like, if I had a 16-year-old daughter, I don't think I would have done it. I don't think I would have done it. Would you do that with your daughter at the 16?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like she must have really believed in you.
She did. No,
Like,
she did. And she trusted me. She trusted me
That's a lot of
tremendously.
trust. Yes.
She trusted me tremendously. And after that, I was good. Like, I was good. There were other people that were there. Most of the people were older. I was one of the very youngest people at this summer intensive.
Got you.
And there was like maybe one other girl that was my age, and she like wilded out, went crazy, started drinking and all that stuff. And I was very focused. I'm like, no, I'm here to do acting, and I'm going to go to dance classes on my off time, and I'm going to keep up with my dancing. And I was very focused, and my mama knew that about me. And so I'm so grateful that she did. It led to a lot of great things. But it was, just that initial getting my luggage stolen absolutely was a culture shock.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Like,
and then when I came back, like I said, for 9/11 to be here like permanently, that's when I like moved to New York for college. That was, talk about a shock. Again, I'm surprised that both my parents let me stay after 9/11 happened. Like, that was crazy.
Right. Well, I know you've been through some things since you've been here, but I'm certainly glad that you made it here so that I got to meet you and experience you a little bit. So we met in the filmmaker community.
Yes.
And after a while of getting to know you, I found out about Working Out the Kinks, your series. I love it, by the way. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Y'all need to see it.
Yay.
I want to know why this story was so important for you to tell.
At the time, I was feeling like I, as an actor in the industry, was being treated differently when I wore my hair naturally. And I wasn't seeing that sort of representation very much on film, on TV. Now it's different, and I'm glad it's different. I believe stories like the one I was telling, I would like to think the stories like the one I was telling helped to change that landscape. But at the time when I conceived the story, that was why I felt like I was being treated differently. I wasn't able to have the type of roles that I wanted to have and still be authentic to myself. Either I had to change myself to conform to what they wanted, or I stayed true to myself and didn't get the roles and or got treated differently, or was considered for different types of roles, like the fun, spunky best friend versus the leading lady, you know?
You.
So, that's kind of what led to it.
I mean, I love it. I would say it again and again. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. And I appreciate you telling the story, because it's not like everything that you see out there, you know. So good job and congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now, in the Book of Mormon, you have the responsibility of knowing the lines for all the female characters?
Yes, except for the lead. I don't cover the lead, the lead female character, but she's like a teenager, so
Okay.
but the other one, I cover all the other women.
What has this taught you about yourself?
You know, it's very interesting because before Book of Mormon, I spent my entire career not wanting to be avoiding actually being a swing. That's what the title of that position is, a swing. And because in my mind, and I tell this because I think a lot of people probably think this, even as an actor in the industry, I thought this. In my mind, a swing was like second string. A swing wasn't on stage every night. A swing wasn't performing all the time and wasn't, part of the main cast. And so I didn't want that. And then when Book of Mormon offered me the job to be a swing, I mean, it was Book of Mormon. I couldn't say no. So I said yes. And so, but when I did it, I realized how first of all, how enjoyable it is being a swing. Like I had also never been in a show this long running as Book of Mormon. Book of Mormon has been running since 20. Ooh, I'm about to be on record. I'm telling a lie. Jesus, I want to say 2011. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Book of Mormon. Please forgive me. But somewhere around there. And I've been with the show since 2017. Okay. I don't think I could be with a show that long if I was in the same role day in and day out, day in and day out, gotcha. Day in and day out, just doing the same lines and the same thing over and over. But with swing, it keeps it fresh. I get to do different roles. And so I've been able to sustain since 2017 because, it keeps it fresh. So that is one thing. Also, number two, I'm an entrepreneur now. So the days that I'm not on stage, I still have to be there just in case something happens, because there have been times when something happened in the middle of the show and I've had to jump on in the middle of the show. So every day I have to be there when I'm scheduled to be there, whether I'm performing or not. So the days that I'm not performing, I get to be backstage doing my entrepreneurial thing. My cast members, they have a running joke they call my dressing room J&J Productions or J&J Enterprises headquarters. That's what it is. Okay. J&J headquarters, because I be in there just working at work.
I believe you.
So there's that. And then the other piece is that the swings are such an integral part of the cast. Like, the show would not go on without the swings. Like this, so there was one article that was done about me and being a swing in the Book of Mormon. And after he wrote it, I had to I thanked him for it, but I had to call him back up and kind of correct some things, because he likened it to being a bench player. Yeah. And I understand, from the outside, again, I kind of had a similar thought back in the day.
Right.
But now being in it, I realize how absolutely incorrect that is, because a bench player is a bench player because they're not as talented as the main, as the starting five, right?
Gotcha.
Number one. Number two, a bench player generally is only able to play one position, maybe two positions on the court. A swing, we got to be able to play all the positions, and you got to have a special kind of talent to do that.
Yes.
So it's not that we're not as talented as the people on stage. The people on stage every night. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, we're the superheroes of the cast.
Yeah. Just hearing a little bit about it. First of all, I will admit, I didn't even know much about a swing until I looked up what you do. And I was like, that's a lot of work. I need to know more about that, because to me that is just amazing. And to be ready and to just be, I salute you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. What would you say is the most challenging thing about being a swing?
The most challenging thing about being a swing probably is keeping the blocking straight. It's not the lines. It's not the choreography. It's not the maybe the vocal parts, because sometimes those can get challenging. Remembering from soprano or alto, or some parts are like a mix of soprano and alto. So I would say either the vocal parts and or the blocking. So if I am kalimba for the night, then in this scene, I'm on number 16, and then I move into 14, and then I move to 12, and then I come back out to 16, and then I go all the way to stage left to 2. This is just an example of what the blocking might be like. There's actual numbers on the stage. When you're in the audience, you can't see it, but there's actual numbers on the stage. It's like a grid on the stage. But if I'm Kimbe that particular night, then my numbers change. And in this very same scene, I have to be at number 4, and then I have to be at number 8, and then I have to come back into number 7. And then, you know what I'm saying? So keeping those numbers straight in your head while you're saying your lines, while you're doing the choreography, that can be challenging.
Okay. Well, I just have this feeling that you handled it all with grace. Now, after I got to know you through the filmmaking community, I got into some coaching manifestation situations with you. I was happily in a couple of your programs and all that good stuff. Manifested some cool things. When did you learn that manifestation was real?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know if anybody's ever asked me that specific question before. They've asked me questions about manifestation. When did I know that manifestation was real? I think I'm trying to decide. There's 2 points that are coming to mind. I think I'm gonna go with when I started my business the very first time, and yeah, I'm gonna go with that. So I started. I had just come out of an abusive relationship. And I was sleeping on my aunt's floor at the time because I had been living with my ex, or with my boyfriend at that time, and then my family came and pretty much saved me from dying of being beat to death. And so I went to live with my aunt because she lives the closest to New York. She lives in New Jersey.
Okay.
And she didn't have much space though, so I was sleeping on her floor, and but that's when I started fighting for my life, essentially. That's when I was like, yo, how did I get here? This is crazy. The fact that I was in an abusive relationship, that I stayed in it for as long as I did, the fact that it got to the point that it did, that I almost died, the fact that now I'm sleeping on my aunt's floor, I have no job, I have PTSD, I can't even pull myself together to go get a job, I'm not where I know I could be, just in life, in my career, in my finances, in my relationships. Like, how is this happening, God? I know that this is not my destiny. I know that this is not for me. How am I even here? And so that's kind of the time, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so that's when self-development kind of started coming into my life, and I started going to seminars and watching YouTube videos and reading books and listening to audios and things about self-development and financial freedom and mindset and law of attraction and all of that. And it resonated with me, it resonated with me. And I just felt like this had to be real, like this had to be the thing. And so, but it still was kind of like an idea, right? And so, but then I started actually working with a coach, and he helped me to really be intentional about what I wanted to manifest. And so at that point, still sleeping on my aunt's floor, I started my business, and I created my first course, and we put a price tag on it of $3,000. Girl, that felt so like edgy, like 3,000, like y'all gonna pay, like who's gonna pay me $3,000 for some, can I cuss on here? Okay. For some bullshit that I just made up out my mind. Like, who's gonna pay me for this? Like, and $3,000? Like, that's a lot of money, at least at the time. I was like, that's a lot of money. Yeah. And it's my very first thing that I created. But my very first try, he kind of coached me on putting it together and pricing it, and then how to like go about selling it. And the very first phone call I made, the very first try, I sold it for $3,000. Yeah. And that's when I was like, oh, this is real. This works. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Cause I was it wasn't just the business side, but more so actually before we even got to that, he was working with me on the self-development, the manifestation, the being intentional of what I wanted to bring into the world and manifest. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And what I think is more beautiful is the fact that you discovered that you have all this self-development, and then you decide you want to share it. So why was it important for you to become a coach and share your knowledge and wisdom with others?
Yeah. At first, it wasn't important for me to become a coach.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I became a coach because, so that first time, when I first started the business, that $3,000, that was out of necessity.
Okay, got you.
That was because, like I said, I couldn't pull myself together to get a job, but I knew that I had wisdom to share. So that at that point, it was out of necessity, just keeping it a buck, just keeping it real.
Yeah.
And then like as I saw the things happening, as I continued to grow and develop, and at that time I was really just focusing on helping artists anyway. At that point, it wasn't even necessarily, at least in my mind, it wasn't manifestation. It was me helping artists to fulfill their dreams and do some of the type of work that I had been blessed to do in my life. But as time went on, I realized like the bedrock, the foundation of this work that I'm doing with them is the mindset work, is the manifestation work. And, I switched at some point I started coaching entrepreneurs. And again, it was like the foundation, the bedrock was the mindset work, the manifestation work, the law of attraction, that sort of thing. I eventually went back to coaching artists, and yet I kept coming back to that foundation, and I realized, that's me. That's the core of what it is that I teach, no matter who I'm teaching, no matter if it's artists, no matter if it's entrepreneurs, no matter if it's professionals, no matter if it's somebody who just wants something better in life. Like, that's what it is for me. And I especially have a heart for Black people, because I think it became important to me when I realized, like, nobody taught me this growing up. Why didn't nobody teach me this? Like, this is magic. Like, these are the keys to the kingdom. Why didn't nobody teach me this? So that's when it became important, when I realized, like, that was the thread, and it was helping so many people, including myself. And I wish somebody had taught it to me sooner. I was like, I gotta spread this to the world. That's how it became important.
I dig all of that. I receive all of that. What is your ultimate goal for your coaching? Like, is there an amount of people you want to reach? Have you thought about that? Like, where are we going?
Ooh, this is a juicy question. I really love this. I want to reach the masses. I want to reach, there was a number that I used to call forth, and it was like 3 trillion. It was like 3 trillion. And I know that's like an outlandish number. I know that there's not even that many people on this earth. But that is over the course of generations and lifetimes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yes, it was the number that came to when I was thinking about how many lives and souls do I want to touch. That was the number that came to me, and it's because of generations and lifetimes. So there's that. But within this lifetime, my dream is to really touch. To really be an inspiration for Black people in particular, and to do it at destinations, and create a good time for people, like adventures and things. And this is I didn't plan on saying this, but I think I'm going to go ahead and say this is the first time I'm saying this publicly. That this year, I am taking a group of women on a retreat to South Africa. Wow. Yeah, and I want that to be a regular occurrence, where we go to the motherland, different places. This year we're going to next year, 2024, we're going to South Africa, and I think my next one maybe Egypt, but I want that to be a regular occurrence, where we do retreats, destination retreats, and really connect to these sacred portals that are in these places, particularly on the continent, for us. And so that's my vision for this lifetime.
awesome. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to hear it so, the universe hears it and you know how all that works. You
Yes.
know how all that stuff works.
Yes.
All right. Also, just how much I admire and respect you. You doing your thing, girl.
Thank you. Thank you,
And I'm
Queen.
going to tell you more about how I feel about you right now.
You
like
are
it.
amazing.
You
I
like
love
it.
it.
Okay. Nycole, when I look at you, I see a woman with magic in her eyes and dreams to fulfill. You have this let's make it happen attitude that fills the room with motivation, inviting us all to show up and show out. I so appreciate the methods of self-love that I adopted from working with you. I will keep these things with me always. Your transparency about the obstacles you've overcome only makes you more beautiful and a true example of resilience. I love how real you are. You don't sugarcoat your message. You don't let people play in your face. And you do it all with style and grace. Thank you for being a part of my village and for being undeniable. This is for you.
Oh, thank you.
I like people get surprised when I hand them the card. Like, it is a gift.
Thank you. Oh my
You're very
gosh. I feel so honored. Thank you.
That's the feeling I was going for.
I love your flourish and your flamboyance with it too. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
You're very
This
welcome.
really is touching. This means so much to me. This means the world to me. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you, and I definitely want you to feel that. And other people appreciate you, and they're about to appreciate you more because you're going to tell them how they can find you on social media because y'all need to know what's happening and stay up to date. I need to go see some shows. So let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Nycole Ralph on Instagram is probably the best place to find me. And there you can find my link tree. If you go to my website, my manifestation coaching website, there's a button on the website where you can sign up for a free manifestation activation session where we will talk about what it is that you're trying to manifest, what it is that might be holding you back from manifesting it, and where I can hopefully give you some tools to help you shift that. So, yeah.
Yes, and she's really great at what she does. I will first vouch for that. Like, it's the real deal. Thank you so much for being here. It has been a pleasure. Thank you all for watching, for joining me, for rocking with your girl. I appreciate you all so much. Until next time. I created Undeniable because I wanted to lean in on my vulnerability and share more about myself. At the same time, I wanted to honor some people who are very special to me and also essential to the culture. What I didn't expect in all of this was all the love that I would feel and receive, or how much I would learn through hosting and editing. Sometimes we have something in our hearts to achieve, and we don't even fully understand the purpose until we're doing it. So if there's something in your heart, just start. It could turn into something beautiful. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. It's a rap dance. It's a rap dance. 'Cause we done that and we did that and we sexy. Get it, Jay. Get it, Jay. You play too much, Jay.